Bradley Aidan Johnson here, and I hope I can do this in one video. I don't know how deep I'm going to go into this, but I've shown 2 videos now where I use Aspartame sweetener, and props are good. This is my Tesco's Aspartame sweetener. Now, Now, people say, aspartame, don't use aspartame. Yo, use aspartame, it's poison, it's poison. And people that say not to use aspartame always have the same exact thing in common. This is how they say it. This is how they do it. Do it like this every time. Hey man, I noticed you're using aspartame. You shouldn't use that, man. That's bad for you. And then I say to them, really? You think, what do you mean? And they say, you don't know. Google it, mate. Google it. Now, maybe I'm just being cynical, but I think saying Google it to someone is code for, I actually don't know. But if you Google it, maybe you could find out. But I heard someone said something bad. I've no idea. Do you know anything that it does? I've no idea. So, I'm going to assume those people have no idea what aspartame even is, let alone what it does, or any dangers or health concerns or anything that could be connected to it. So let's make a crazy long video where we go through all of that junk. Let's get into it. Alright, first of all, aspartame is a chemical, make no bones about it. It's not naturally occurring, yeah? You're not gonna find aspartame growing out of the ground. Does that make it bad? No, because you don't find bread growing out of the ground either. Most things you don't find growing out of the ground. In fact, I would go to say to you that there's nothing in your kitchen that you find in the state that you eat it growing out of any part of your kitchen. Like whether it's rice, you ever seen rice just like that? No, everything goes through some amount of processes before it ends up with you. Everything is a chemical at its heart. So chemistry is everything. All things are chemistry. So just because something says a chemical, don't go, oh, it's not natural. Most things aren't natural. Welcome to Earth. Now, it's a non-saccharide sweetener. What that means is it's not a sugar, it's not a carbohydrate. It metabolizes differently and works differently. The key aspect of it, the most important thing is it's 200 times sweeter than sugar. 200 times. Which means you need much less of it to get the same sweetness effect on the tongue as sugar. So whilst it actually metabolizes about the same rate, you need 1/200th of the amount for the same effect as sugar, relatively speaking, so that you don't need as much. So because you don't need as much, there's less calories in it. That's why we do it. So we don't want to waste our calories on all that sugar. We have something that is much sweeter for a tinier amount. So that tiny amount thing comes into play when you think about what the FDA and any food authority has said to be a safe amount of consumption of aspartame on a daily basis, a daily intake. Now, anything that exists has a safe daily intake. There's no thing that you can consume an infinite amount of, and that is down to water, sugar, protein, fats, fiber, anything. There's no amount anything that has an infinite amount. Just have as much as you want per day. You can't have 40 liters of water in a day. It is lethal. You can't have that. Don't drink that. Don't do that. It's too much water, right? So, the safe amount of aspartame to have per day is 40 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. 40 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. Hope you got that into. Now, we'll use me as the test subject, okay? 40 milligrams times my body weight in kilograms, which is 85, yeah, is whatever number it is, okay? It's 3,400, something like that, right? Now, because people that say all these things, they don't do math. If you don't do math, how are you gonna tell somebody something? Okay, that's the amount the food standards agency say is safe. That's okay. Don't have any more than that, okay? For reasons that we will get into. I can't make this video so long. This here is aspartame-based sweetener, yeah? This is 75 grams of aspartame-based sweetener. There are not 75 grams of aspartame in here. Otherwise, I would be taking, you saw me take big tablespoons out, yeah? That if that was pure aspartame, that would be the effect of me loading 400 tablespoons of sugar into my, in terms of sweetness, into my shake. It has maltodextrin to the 97th percentile. It's only 3% aspartame, right? So, when you work out for my body weight, it actually says my safe daily intake of aspartame, pure aspartame, is 113 grams a day for my massive weight, yeah? This is a 75 gram tub. How much of this I would need, 1.5 of these a day, to match my maximum intake of aspartame according to the food standards agency, the FDA, etc., wherever it is you come from. So I have 4 tablespoons of this a day. I go through one of these in about 10 days, which means I am about 8% of my safe intake of this sweetener, according to the Food Standards Agency. Now, for those conspiracy theorists, right, that think, yeah, but what do the food standard, what do they know? What do they know about, they're hiding the fact that it's a poison. Okay, we'll do that next. It's a poison. In what form? What does it do? What effects does it have on the body? You don't know? Don't worry, I do. Let's get into that. The points of concern for aspartame are the metabolites, which are the things that aspartame, the chemical compound, breaks down into once the body has a go at it, yeah? And the main one that you want to be of concern with is phenylalanine, yeah? And I say yeah, like everyone's like, yeah, phenylalanine. Anyway, which is a problem, an actual problem. Look, I'm agreeing with the aspartame problem, people. If you have phenylketonuria, which is, by the way, have you ever heard of that before? You haven't, have you? No one's heard of it because it's incredibly rare. It's a rare condition where the body cannot break down the phenylalanine that is broken down from the aspartame, and levels of it accumulate, and it can cause problems such as brain damage. Yeah. Now, though, if you are born with that condition, you should have 0 aspartame. Under no circumstances should you have any aspartame in your diet. However, that condition is significantly rarer than people with nut allergies, and I have almonds and walnuts and peanut butter as a superfood on my playlist, and you're not going to find anywhere anything under any healthy eating thing that says nuts. Whew, be careful, yeah? So there's always a group of people that can't consume a certain thing, whether you're lactose intolerant, whether you can't you can't take in gluten, whether you have problems with sugar levels. Some people have various conditions of that nature. You are always going to find someone that can't intake something, whatever the thing is. And for people that have phenylketonuria, you cannot have aspartame. That's the first metabolite. The next one would be aspartic acid. That is another metabolite of aspartame. That's also an amino acid. The amino acids, those things that form proteins, the thing that we drink all the time and try and get more of in the whole bodybuilding world. That is another metabolite, so there's an amino acid in it. But of course, we have to go back. Even if you have a ridiculous amount of aspartame, breaking that down, you're still going to get only between like literally 1%, probably less than that, of your total intake of aspartic acid for that day that you should be having as part of your diet anyway. And people have said, oh, if you have too much of these, just like any substance that you ever intake, if you have too much aspartic acid with glutamate, if you have too much of those two together, it can lead to brain damage. Yes, that is true. You would need about 70 tubs of this a day though to get, no you wouldn't, let's do the math. You need about 250 of these a day for that intake to cause a problem, assuming you didn't eat anything else. Assuming you did eat something else, maybe 150 tubs. 150 tubs will get you in trouble with aspartic acid. That's that metabolite. The next one, of course, is methanol. Methanol poisoning is a concern that people have because one of the other metabolites of aspartame is methanol. Methanol poisoning. Of course, there is less methanol in aspartame than you'd get in fruit juice. So, if you're worried about that, drink less fruit juice. And by less, we mean the nothing amounts, the same 1% problem. There's no problem with what it breaks down to. That amount of methanol does not impact on anything. There is no scientific research studies or anything to suggest such a tiny minuscule amount of, and this is not, because this might sound like I'm saying avoid fruit juice, you must be insane. These amounts are so tiny the body breaks them down without even batting an eyelid. There is no concern of the main metabolites of aspartame, of none of them, unless you have that incredibly rare condition, and it's a genetic condition and you don't have it. You may have it, but you don't have it. Trust me, you don't have it. You'd know if you had it. Anyway, they also did studies on cancer and aspartame, because why not, since you're studying it. The National Cancer Institute says, and I quote, what? That is the basics, basically the full foundation of their research, the entire extent of their research into aspartame and cancer was, well, I think they probably would find about as many links between aspartame and cancer as you'd find between green dumbbells and cancer. So, what colour are your dumbbells? Green. Have you had a checkup recently? You may be in trouble. So, that is not a concern. There are other miniature concerns. Should I go into them? Some of the things that are done on aspartame begin to get a little bit crazy. I mean, like after you go into the chemistry and you find nothing, then you got to get anecdotal and start making links wherever. When the chemistry doesn't show you anything, then you got to start reaching out of there. So they've done studies on breast milk, neurological problems like headaches and seizures and stuff to test if they make seizures, and they found in one of my favourite studies, they found nothing on the breast milk. Even at the highest doses, there was a little bit of aspartame in the breast milk, but since aspartame is not a problem, other than being not a problem, that's not a problem anyway. They couldn't find anything on the whole seizures and things, but they did find a connection between aspartame and getting headaches / migraines, a connection that they also found with, I think it was cheese, crisps, hot dogs, fruit juice, milk, and said all of these things together, oh yeah, definitely, yeah, juices, all these things will lead to increased migraines. So avoid hot dogs, because they give you headaches just like aspartame does. It gets to a point where it's like, let it go now, dog. There's one of my favourite Eminem lyrics is right at the end of the lyric is a diss track. He says, sorry, bringing my hip hop side into this. He says, maybe you can understand if I say it slower. Let it go, dog. It's over. And that is exactly how I feel with aspartame. Let it go. There's no dangers in aspartame. 200 times sweeter than sugar. bradleyaidanjohnson at gmail.com. If you have any queries or theories or suggestions or anything, let me know. Other than that, like the video, like my Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and of course, subscribe. Peace!